So finally, last acting award and the third to the last award overall before I'm finally done with this godforsaken thing. And this time we have Best Actor, and the nominees are Steve Carell as John DuPont in Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper as Chris Kyle in American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch as Alan Turing in The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton as Regan Thompson in Birdman, and Eddie Redmayne as Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything. Now, this is kind of a weird list because three of the nominees here I think totally deserve their nominations. The other two I think have absolutely no place here. But this is the list we have. Unfortunately, they snubbed people like Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler, David Oyelowo from Selma, and even like Timothy Spall from Mr. Turner. I would have thought would have belonged here much better than some of the other nominees. But yeah, in terms of who I think should have won the Oscar, fifth place I'm going to put Bradley Cooper. And Bradley Cooper, like ever since kind of graduating from his role in The Hangover, he's always been a competent dramatic actor. He really manages to keep his emotions very potent and vulnerable during both the action sequences here and the scenes when he's at home with post-traumatic stress disorder. And really, like physically speaking, he really did bulk up for this role. Like he's huge in this movie, and he really does a good job in every movie he's in. It's just that this movie itself, for me, it's just not the best role to let him shine as an actor worthy of an Academy Award nomination. I mean, he did a lot of great work in Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, but this movie I don't think really is good enough to be nominated for an Oscar. And I will admit again that the flaws of a movie itself do affect the way I view the performance, because if the character is weak and if the story around him is weak, then the actor's performance can't really shine through those flaws sometimes. Although Bradley Cooper is so committed to his role here that he even tried to move the fake baby's head with his finger. I mean, I'm kidding, but like he really was like the best part of American Sniper probably. Now at fourth place, I'm going to put Steve Carell, and he was really really scary in Foxcatcher, but in a very kind of understated way. I mean, if you look at J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, you were really afraid of him because you know he could hurt people and whatnot. But you were really afraid of Steve Carell's character here, even if he didn't do anything, because you were just so paranoid around him about what he might be capable of doing, because he's just so frightening in that he might be mentally ill to the point of violence. And he really, but surprisingly, he manages to make his character like really, really pitiful as well. Just through like his really awkward speech patterns, the way he acts when his mother is watching is just extremely hard to watch. Also, in a good way. But the reason why I don't think Carell belongs in this category is because, simply put, he wasn't the lead actor in Foxcatcher. I hate it when the Academy does that, when they put an actor with a bigger name in the lead actor category, even if they were in no way the main character in their movie. And while John DuPont is the central character of Foxcatcher, in that he really gets the plot moving, he's not the lead. He's not the main focus, in my opinion. The story's not told through his point of view. It's told through the point of view of Channing Tatum's character, who actually did great work. At third place, I'm going to put Benedict Cumberbatch. And Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game is great. He really piles on layers and layers of mannerisms and nuance to Alan Turing to really make it seem like he's this really extremely introverted and closed off guy. But what's truly impressive about Benedict Cumberbatch's performance here is that beyond his exterior demeanor, he really is able to convey like the frustration and the pain that this guy was experiencing all throughout his while trying to break the German Enigma code and being prosecuted for his sexuality. And it's really revealed by the end, like all the emotions that are kind of bubbling underneath him, and it's really really heartbreaking also to watch. Although I have spoken to some people and they tell me that arguably his performance here is not too different from his performance as Sherlock. And I think that his performance here, at least compared to the next two, does take a hit from the fact that his only deep interaction in the movie is with Keira Knightley's character Joan Clark, so you don't really get to see him stretch those dramatic muscles as much in other places. Now, at second place, I'm going to put Eddie Redmayne, and technically speaking, I think Eddie Redmayne did do the most impressive performance in that he really just managed to look like Stephen Hawking in just his posture, and he really went beyond all the makeup effects, and he really kind of transformed himself into this guy. And it's really tough to act as someone with a disability such as this, because it demands so much physically and mentally, and I think he pulled it off tremendously also. Just every single detail, from like his twitching fingers to his growing speech impediments, it really just adds to our impression that Stephen Hawking is getting more and more fragile as this movie goes on. But somehow he manages to convey even more emotion as Stephen Hawking gets more and more disabled. Like you really just see it just through his eyes and just through the tiniest facial expressions. It's very, very impressive that he was able to still, retain chemistry with his co-stars despite not being able to speak. And at first place, I'm going to put Michael Keaton. And if balance is the name of the game with this Best Actor race, then no one else stood a chance in this whole category because I think Michael Keaton in Birdman, he really was able to juggle every single emotion conceivable in that whole emotional spectrum, and he was able to do it so believably. You believe that it's all coming from one place, one character. But despite all these emotions that he shows, he still manages to play Regan with a lot of restraint and a lot of nuance. It's not really a showy performance, but it's just extremely impressive to me. And he's also able to transition seamlessly from playing Regan to playing Regan's on-stage persona within Birdman, and that's really, really difficult to pull off. And he ultimately becomes a prism for the movie's like multitude of themes just running through it. And he really like is able to change like the meanings of certain lines that are repeated as well. Like whenever Regan goes on stage to say something, he like because of the circumstances that surround him, the way he delivers these lines comes off very, very like slightly differently, but it just speaks volumes about what this character is going through. And in terms of who I think was going to win the Oscar, I really thought Michael Keaton was going to get it because he had been winning a lot of stuff. But then Eddie Redmayne came in and stole the award, which I was a bit upset about at first until I saw how happy Eddie Redmayne was, so I was kind of fine with it, I guess. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the Best Actor category for this year's Oscars. What do you think about Eddie Redmayne winning? Who do you think should have won? Whatever you thought, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.